Before starting today's chapter, let us do a small recap of the story. So our story has two main characters. The first one's name is Aoning, and the second is Vihang, who are both roommates, but they slowly started spending a lot of time together. And we had seen that Vihang invites Aoning and his friends for rock climbing, and in the previous chapter, we had seen that Vihang was talking to his friends and coach about the same thing. That some of his friends are coming here, and just remembering. Aoning, a smile had come on his faces, which his coach and his friends were quite surprised, and said, how can emotions come in a pile of ice? Like Yubkaus, Vihang used to always remain quite calm and sad, but after Aoning came into his life, he started staying happy, and when Vihang was talking about Aoning, he was smiling, which made his coach feel that maybe Aoning is his girlfriend. With this, today's chapter begins where Vihang's coach asks him, are they just your friends? Where Vihang says if not friends, then what else would they be? On which the coach starts thinking that he is trying to hide his girlfriend. Here, the coach asks, have your friends done rock climbing before? In which he says no, on which the coach says we cannot bring newbie people like Thisher. Vihang says, after all, what is the problem in newbie Peopli? On which the coach himself starts thinking that he has completely changed since his girlfriend Kama here. Vihang, seeing the coach smiling in a strange way, immediately asks, why are you laughing? In which the coach says, nothing, I'm just happy for you. In which Vihang says, do not smile like this, you look very ugly. And then he immediately leaves from there, and he is going to practice. Then his coach stops him and says, do you not think you should wear protective gears? In which Vihang says, I do not need Eton. Which the coach starts getting angry, and we see Vihang starts climbing straight up without any safety. Here the coach shouts at him, be careful, I do not want to take you to hospital. Here Vihang starts saying there will be no need for Thaden, which the coach starts leaving from there. Then suddenly Vihang remembers a scene from the past where he sees his master falling from the mountain, and the story shifts to the past where we see that after falling from the mountain, Vihang's master had become very badly injured, but he was explaining to Vihang that it is not your fault in this, so do not regret. And the scene immediately comes to present where Vihang tells us that after that day I have practiced a lot till Todai and never going to fall now. The next scene starts directly with morning, where we see Aoning and his friends who had reached Vihang's club starts thinking that we have come quite early. Then suddenly the coach comes out from inside, on which all those people start looking towards him. Here the coach is also looking towards them, and then asks, what are you kids doing here so early in the morning? Then one friend of Aoning there tells that Vihang has invited a shearing, which the coach does not look happy at all. He starts looking around them, and he does not see any girl. So he thinks, I thought girlfriend was coming after all. Where is his girlfriend? In Themno? In the next scene we see that after scolding Vihang for times, the coach starts moving towards the mountain with his friend Sand, then starts thinking that my niece was right, Vichang will always remain singlefter, which the next scene is shown to Yuzul. Those people had reached the hiking location here. They had done some climbing, in which we see that Bao had become quite tired, and Aoning was supporting him, and now Aoning feels that he will not have to climb Anamorath, and the coach shows him towards the mountain and says, you have to climb it. After seeing which the condition of these three becomes bad. Anyway, then again Aoning's eyes go towards Vihang, where we see Vihang, who is looking quite stylish and was wearing his hiking gear. Here the coach again goes to talk to Vihang, where Vihang tells that only a little time has passed since he Kamino. We see Aoning, whose eyes go to the hook fixed on top of the mountain. Here Vihang tells him that he and his master had fixed that hook, in which Aoning gets surprised, and Vihang tells him, by the way, this mountain was not used for climbing, but I and my teacher had found this place since Then this is our secret bazaar. Vihang is telling him many more things, but Aining's eyes go to Vihang's clothes. Aoning starts thinking that why is Vihang wearing climbing gear over his clothes sheer. Aoning asks what is the name of this placey. On this Vihang tells I had named this placey. Its name is Theek. Thakaning does not understand anything. He asks what did you say in this? He says, I have named this place Theek Thakan, which Aoning starts laughing. And Vihang tells that my teacher had also named used to call it Young Fingerson, which Aoning says, your teacher must have been a very good person on which Vihang becomes sad, and says my teacher used to be a very good person. Aoning realizes from his talks that Vihang has been climbing for 3 years. That is why he asks in surprise, and he says, is it true in this? Vihang tells yes, when I was 15 years old. Since then, I'm here for Klimbeer again. Aoning starts thinking, who knows what I was doing 3 years ago. Worlds are completely different. Then we see Vihang, who asks Aoning, do you have any other question? Here again we see Aoning, who starts asking some questions related to hiking, but Vihang is noticing that whenever Aoning talks to him, he touches his glasses and he starts thinking either he feels awkward talking to me or his glasses are quite heavy. Then we see a boy comes and starts calling Vihang, and Vihang tells Aoning that he is his partner and both of them are going to climb together, after which Vihang starts removing his clothes, and we see that he was looking quite good in it. And Aoning directly holds his clothes and starts pulling, on which Vihang gets quite surprised, and he thinks I was going to keep this cloth, but Aoning was lost, and he holds the clothes. Vihang says thank you to him, and Aoning says give your besno. Aoning is staring at Vihang, and he thinks that how good he is and how tall he is. Whatever he has worn looks quite good on him. If I had worn those gears, then I would not even be able to walk. Then we see his coach comes there, who makes him wear the helmet, and the coach then starts telling everyone that no matter how you do climbing, wearing helmet is necessary. And then it starts reminding us that in the past his teacher used to be exactly like Fish, also always used to tell him to wear helmet during climbing, but I used to be quite stubborn and I did not like wearing helmet. And we see the story comes to present, and Vihang had now gone to climb the mountain, where Aoning also starts thinking about him. On here we see Vihang, who without wasting time starts climbing straight where Aoning was just looking at him in surprise. And we see Vihang, who is climbing that mountain without fear, without any trouble here. All this feels quite a lot to Aoning. Here Aoning is getting quite surprised from this, and he looks quite impressed. Seeing Vihang is seeing a panther inside Vihangan. The other side, Vihang's fans are taking his pictures, and Vihang's partner was managing the rope, after which we again see that now Vihang had started facing some trouble, and the coach is telling all of them that he will handle it, and they tell that Vihang has now become expert in this. Then we suddenly see that Vihang starts slipping from there, and Aoning had become quite scared. All those people get quite scared, but Vihang immediately held a rock and hung there, and Aoning was just holding his breath looking at him. Only his heartbeat had increased a lot. Vihang handles himself now and starts climbing once again. Here the teacher tells that he has reached his position, but Vihang is quite expert in this, will complete the climbing very quickly and will reach the top once again. Then everyone's eyes fall that Vihang had already reached quite close. Here we see Vihang, who is thinking that now can reach up very easily. Then suddenly he starts remembering his teacher, and he immediately leaves this thought because maybe Vihang had some trauma related to his teacher. That is why he did not want to climb it. Then Aoning encourages him and says, Vihang, you should climb up. Go quickly. And here Aoning is cheering for Vihang quite happily, from which suddenly all the energy comes back in Vihang, and he starts smiling. Here all the people are saying why Vihang is not climbing Yupining. also feels that maybe Vihang has got tired, but we see that hearing Aning's voice, Vihang had started climbing again, from which Aoning becomes quite happy, and we see finally Vihang has reached the mountaintop, and there he is standing in a heroic pose, and Aoning, standing below, is cheering him the most by shouting loudly, and Vihang is also looking towards Aoning from above, and with this, today's chapter ends.